Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to study about MEN syndromes. So what actually MEN stands for? MEN stands for multiple endocrine neoplasias. There are three types of MEN syndromes, MEN1, MEN2A and MEN2B. Each MEN syndrome consists of a few endocrine organs, and the interesting fact about these MEN syndromes that each of these MEN syndromes have overlapping features with the others ones. First of all, coming to MEN1 syndrome. MEN1 syndrome, as you can see over here, MEN1 syndrome consists of pituitary, pancreas and the parathyroid. In the pituitary it causes pituitary tumor. Most common pituitary tumor in MEN1 syndrome is prolactinoma. Second, pancreas. In pancreatic endocrine tumor, the most common is gastrinoma. Others are insulinomas, VIPomas and glucagonomas. And in parathyroid, it is parathyroid adenoma. So what is the inheritance pattern of MEN1 syndrome? The inheritance pattern is autosomal dominant. And the interesting fact about all these MEN syndromes that all these MEN syndromes have inheritance pattern of autosomal dominant only. What is the gene that causes MEN1 syndrome? It is MEN1 gene or menin gene. The chromosome number is 11. Menin gene is a tumor suppressor gene, and MEN1 syndrome is also known as Wermer syndrome, W-E-R-M-E-R. One thing which is very important over here, that MEN1 syndrome is Wermer syndrome, whereas there is another syndrome which is known as Werner syndrome, which includes an N instead of M. This Werner syndrome is actually progeroid syndrome and not MEN syndrome. Now coming to MEN2A syndrome. MEN2A syndrome, as you can see over here, consists of parathyroids, thyroid, medullary carcinoma, medullary thyroid carcinoma and pheochromocytomas. MEN2A syndrome has parathyroid in common with MEN1 syndrome. So what is in it with parathyroid gland? The parathyroid hyperplasia. It's not parathyroid adenoma, it's parathyroid hyperplasia. Second thing, thyroid. In thyroid, it causes medullary thyroid cancer. What are medullary thyroid cancers? Medullary thyroid cancers are cancer of the parafollicular C cells which release calcitonin. And the third one is pheochromocytomas. Pheochromocytomas that secrete catecholamines. Again, the inheritance pattern is autosomal dominant. The gene involved is RET proto-oncogene. It is present in chromosome number 10 as compared to the menin gene, which is present in chromosome number 11, which is responsible for MEN1 syndrome. And MEN1 syndrome, the menin gene is a tumor suppressor gene, while MEN2A has RET proto-oncogene, also known as Sippel syndrome. MEN2A is also known as Sippel syndrome. Now coming to MEN2B syndrome. MEN2B syndrome has thyroid and pheochromocytomas in common with MEN2A syndromes. Only the only difference that MEN2B has is that it consists of two M's and it has excluded parathyroid gland. So what are the two M? First M is mucosal neuromas, intestinal or oral, and the second M is Marfanoid habitus. Marfanoid habitus is actually characteristic features of that of a Marfan syndrome person, but that genetic mutation of Marfan syndrome is actually absent. And there is another small m which may include megacolon. It may or may not be present. And rest is same as MEN2A. That is, it will include medullary thyroid cancer, it will include pheochromocytoma, the same autosomal dominant inheritance pattern with RET proto-oncogene in same chromosome number 10, but it is also known as Gorlin syndrome instead of Sippel syndrome.